our study? If not, we can get right to it. Let's just be, like I said, on Shabbat day, wise as serpents, harmless as doves, but also know how to protect ourselves. That's going to be important for what we got going on in this day and time. And we're about to get back in here. But do I have any takers to actually read the first verse of Pirkei Avot, chapter 6? Anybody interested in picking it up? I'm about to pull it up in a second.
Yeah, I'll start.
Hold on, Rabbi Kiramia. Let me share the screen. Welcome, Ima Stephanie. We are now reading again the Mishnaic track of Pirkei Avot. The ethics of the fathers is what this means. These are a bunch of rabbinic insights, sayings, and sources of wisdom and application of Torah. Um, this chapter is powerful. So Aki Ramiel, Torah Rabbi. And we'll just talk about the first verse when we go through. We'll just go read the verse and then we'll talk about it. So if you can start for us, like that'd be great.
Okay. Pirkei Avot 6:1. The sages taught in the language of the Mishnah. Blessed be he who choose them and their teachings. Rabbi Meir said, whoever occupies himself with the Torah for its own sake merits many things. Not only that, but he is worth the whole world. He is called beloved friend, one that loves Elohim, one that loves humankind, one that gladdens Elohim, one that gladdens humankind. And the Torah clothes him in humility and reverence and equips him to be righteous, pious, upright, and trustworthy. It keeps him far from sin and brings him near to merit. And people benefit from his counsel, sound knowledge, understanding, and strength. As it is said, counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I am understanding, strength is mine. Mishle 8:14. And it bestows upon him royalty, dominion, and acuteness in judgment. To him are revealed the secrets of Torah, and he is made as an ever-flowing spring and like a stream that never ceases. And he becomes modest, long-suffering, and forgiving of insult, and it magnifies him and exalts him over everything.
So one thing I want to say before we start discussing, Mishnah means the repetition of study. It means to just go over and over and over and over. And so when our sages taught in the language of Mishnah, there is a rabbinic mindset, right? There's a prophetic, revelatory language, right? There are riddles, parables, right? You understand in Mishlei, in the first chapter of Proverbs, it talks about to understand a parable, right? A wise saying, to understand these things. And that's how the rabbis taught. That's how our master taught as well. Yeshua taught in parable. He taught in the same spirit that all the rabbim taught who were truly of Torah. This is the thing. And so when we look at Chazal or the sages of blessed memory is what that means, then we're able to see how all of this comes together and the true unity of the spirit. Is there anything that stands out to you all from this here? Anybody know who Rabbi Meir was? Rabbi Meir was I want to say, either second or third century rabbi. So he lived either in the 100s to the 200s. So this is going back to the Mishnaic age, okay? The Mishnaic age goes from about 200 BCE when Ezra started to bring the oral tradition back into the fold, all the way up into really like the 6th or 7th century. This is when the Talmud was really written and composed, okay? But Rabbi Meir was one who was very insightful to Torah. And look at his statements. When you occupy yourself with Torah for its own sake, you merit, you become worthy of many things. Not only is he worth, not only that, but he's also worth the whole world. And this is also about the world to come. That's something I think we're going to start drilling in a little more to understand the world to come, which is what we are preparing ourselves for. And not only ourselves, but preparing and repairing ourselves in this world. one who engages in Torah, just like Abraham, beloved friend. You love Elohim, a chassid. This is what a chassid is. If you hear that word chassid, the Hasidic Jews, you hear that word? Well, the chassid means you just are a lover of Elohim. You go from a chaver, a friend, to a chassid, which is one who is truly enraptured with the Most High. And then you become a lover of humankind. So you see the evolution here, right? Right? This is the fulfillment of Torah. You love Elohim with all your heart, soul, and strength. You love your neighbor as yourself. That is the fulfillment of Torah. One that gladdens Elohim and gladdens humankind. You're gladdening Elohim. Elohim looks upon you and shines his countenance on you and gives you shalom. This is what the Birkat Kohanim is all about, the blessing of the priest, right? May Yah bless you and keep you. That blessing is pretty much extending to us the understanding of what happens when Yah's name is on us. And the way we get Yah's name on us is we get up in this Torah. And then look what it does with you. It clothes you in humility and reverence. It equips you with righteousness to be pious, upright, and trustworthy. This is why we study and learn Torah. This is our training. It's our schoolmaster. It's our trainer to become messianic. The whole purpose of Torah is to equip us to become messianic, keeping us from sin, bringing us near to merit. And film, just come on in. If y'all got things y'all want to say, come on in. Y'all, I can talk. But I know there's some things that circulate in y'all domes as well. So don't be shy. Come on, add to the cipher. And this is the thing we're to be to the whole world. We're to benefit the world from our counsel, providing sound knowledge, understanding, and strength. Right? And these are all, if you understand, Da'at, Bina, Gevurah, these are sephirots of the tree of life. These are the spirits from the tree of life. Our counsel is derived from Da'at, hidden. Da'at is hidden. Sound knowledge. But that's why it's hidden, because not all knowledge is sound. Bina, understanding, right? Have the ability to differentiate things. And then strength is to have the fortitude, the focus, to be perseverant and persistent. As it said, counsel is mine and sound chachma, wisdom. Another sephirot. I am understanding. Now, so look at that. Ani Bina. Is that what it says? Come on, Aki Ramiel.
Yeah, you got me thinking now about what you're saying about these Sephirot. What's Psalm 1:1 say? It says, he shall be like a tree planted
Yes,
by
sir.
living waters.
Yes,
Dang.
sir.
Yeah, nice one.
Perfect, huh? And we are to embody all of that. Everything that the scriptures are talking about is being extended unto us for our embodiment of it. We are bestowed upon with royalty now. This is what the what do they call it? The royal priesthood, right? A kingdom of priests. That's the whole nation. This is not something that is not just designated for certain people. This is supposed to be for all Israel. And even deeper, for those who sojourn with us. So what comes with royalty? Dominion. What comes with dominion? Acuteness and judgment. That means we are exact. To be acute means you are exact. You are precise with judgment. And then you're revealed Sodot Torah, the secrets of Torah. Come on now. This is what Mashiyach was talking about. To you, it has been given to know the secrets of the kingdom. Secrets of the kingdom is the same thing as the secrets of the Torah. And then we're made an ever-flowing spring. Out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. That's what's supposed to come out of our bellies too. We look at Mashiyach Yahushua ben Yosef as if he is the only one. Some of us do, anyway. But this is something that he was depicting for us. This is something that he was being an exemplar of for us to see how to do what he did. That it is possible. as a man. Like a stream that never ceases, he becomes modest. That's so powerful. And this is what the bride of Zion is about. We have to understand that we are becoming the bride of Zion. We are the woman clothed in the sun, standing on the moon with a crown of 12 stars, pregnant, giving birth to Mashiyach as a nation. So modest means we don't just reveal unseemly things. We're long suffering and forgiving of insult. Forgiving? How are we going to rule this world if we don't forgive our enemies? And this is what's wrong with a lot of Israelites, unfortunately. They're not forgiving. They are still wrapped up in carnality and fleshliness in terms of hate and anger. Now, I'm not saying forgiveness is extended just to be extended. No, forgiveness is merited as well. People have to do the work of forgiveness. Now, the thing is for us, we have to forgive in a place that we aren't bearing that grudge and that vitriolic and that toxicity. We got to let that go. And forgiveness at times is more for the individual offended than it is for the person who did the offense. So that we're not bitter. We don't become wormwood. Because wormwood, you read that in Revelation, it's going to hit this earth, and you look at how bitter so many people are. The wormwood already done hit the earth, and people think it's going to be a star falling from heaven and hitting the waters. No, that's a whole spirit hitting them waters and turning them into wormwood. People with these messengers, with these energies that are accompanying these messengers and the things that they're doing to poison the water. And lastly, Torah magnifies us and exalts us over everything, because that's what Yah created us to be. His reflection, its reflection on earth. That's what Yah created us to be. Anybody else have anything for verse 1? Don't have me talking all night, y'all. Please come on. Add to the build. Add to the build. Aki Shakir, Shalom Aleichem. Anybody able to read verse 2 for us, Bavakashah? Don't be shy.
Okay, I can read it.
Hold on, Rabbi.
You already have it pulled up on the screen, Maury?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's this whole part where it starts with Rabbi Joshua, the whole thing there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's verse 2. Yes, sir.
Okay. Rabbi Joshua ben Levi said, every day a bat coal, a heavenly voice, goes forth from Mount Horeb and makes proclamation, and says, woe unto humankind for the contempt towards the Torah. For whoever does not occupy himself for the study of Torah is called Nasuv, the rebuked. As it is said, like a gold ring in the snout of a pig is a beautiful woman bereft of sense. Proverbs 11:22. And it says, and the tablets were the work of Elohim, and the writing was the writing of Elohim, graven upon the tablets. Exodus 32:16. Read not Heruth graven, but Heruth freedom. For there is no free man but one that occupies himself with the study of the Torah. And whoever regularly occupies himself with the study of the Torah, he is surely exalted, as it is said. And from Matana to Nahalil, and Nahalil to Bamoth, Numbers 21:19.
Say, wow, Joshua call out to you as well. Rabbi Yahushua ben Levi was also a 2nd century rabbi, and his insight was that there was a heavenly voice that came from Mount Horeb. My question is this: what also happened at Mount Horeb? What's another name for Mount Horeb? Every day he's saying a bat call comes from Mount Horeb. Where is Mount Horeb? What took place at Mount Horeb? And what's the significance of that? We're going to read it anyway coming up. Moshe was told, well, actually, Moshe was at Mount Horeb. We just read about Mount Horeb when Moshe encountered the burning bush. And remember what Yah told him about Israel after he brings them out. Where are they to go? And to do what with? Anybody remember? They were to come to Mount Horeb and worship. And this is also Mount Horeb is pretty much Mount Sinai. So every day a heavenly voice comes from Mount Sinai or Mount Horeb, the mountain of Elohim, and makes his proclamation because that's where the Torah was given. Woe unto humankind for their contempt towards Torah. This is the problem. And I guarantee you, there's so much contempt for Torah to the degree that the teaching has now spread from the West that the law has been done away with. It's been nailed to the cross. But woe unto humankind for their contempt for this, because you are now considered the rebuke. It says in Proverbs 28, he who turns away his ear from hearing the Torah, even his prayer is an abomination. Now, see, that's not read, though. That stuff is not taught me. The first time I heard it, I was like, oh, my goodness. Let me turn my ear towards Torah. Let me hear what the prophetic word of Elohim is, because this is the significance of the Torah. The first 4 books of the scriptures, Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, are in fact the revelation of prophecy, the revelation of the word of Elohim. That is where you will find expressly the revelation of the prophetic word of El Elyon. The 5th book, Deuteronomy, is the prophetic revelation of the word, though. What do I mean by that? Moshe is now explaining the Torah to the people. The first 4 chapters is Yah revealing the word to the people. The 5th book, Devarim, words, is Moshe explaining the words to the people, interpreting and applying the Torah for the people. And this is why it's so important for us to understand why we go over Torah the way we do, because the Torah is the word of Elohim. And what Yahushua did is manifested. He incarnated the Torah. He became a living Torah scroll. So that lets us know what he was occupied with. That lets you know what he loved. That lets you know what his focus was. The Torah. So much so that he became a walking scroll. Something we're all supposed to do. But hey, compare someone who does not occupy themselves and has contempt for the Torah to a gold ring in the snout of a pig, a swine, a beautiful person bereft of sense. And we got a lot of souls like that. We got a lot of souls on earth like that. A lot of beautiful people doing the most unseemly things and as unclean and defiled as swine with a gold ring in their nose. That's crazy. But then he goes on. And he says these tablets were the work of Elohim, right? The tablets were the work of Elohim. Anybody know what the tablets were made of? What were the tablets with the 10 words of the 10 commandments made of? Anybody know what they were made of? You know what they were made of?
Sapphire stone.
Sapphire stone. What color was the sapphire?
Blue.
Blue stone. Why were they blue? Why blue? Because you got red sapphire too. Why blue? Anybody know what that techlet is all about? That blue represents the heavens. It also represents the throne of Elohim. When you look up, you see that blue sky, but that is some symbolic color representing the throne of Elohim. So when you see that blue, that represents the throne of Elohim. So the sapphire stones written on the front and the back, right, are the work of Elohim. Now, this is supposed to be our heart, though. So when you hear the word engrave, because this is what they're saying, the writing, the engrave, don't say harut, because that's what the word is for engraved, harut. But he said, don't read it harut, read it herut, read it the freedom. Yah freed these words on these stones. Because then it connects the dot. If you're not free, it's because you don't occupy yourself with Torah. If you are free to live from sin, from death, it's because you occupy yourself with the study of Torah. And see, that's the thing. We got freedom so confused. Israel, why was Israel set free? Why did Yah go tell Moshe to tell Pharaoh to let my people go? What was the purpose of them being let go? Anybody know why Yah said, let my people go? What's the ending phrase of let my people go? What's the last part of that? Anybody remember? He said, let my people go so that they may serve me, so that they may worship me. The reason we are getting set free is so that we can worship Yah, where is found life. You enter now into life. And when you enter life, you're free from death. When you enter life, you're free from sin. That's freedom. Because now you're free to live. And we just got to know and qualify what life is. We don't, a lot of the times, not saying us in here, but we don't know what life is. Life. And that is what makes one free, is when we engage the study of Torah. Whoever regularly occupies themselves with the study of Torah is called exalted. As it is said from Matana, which means the gift of Elohim, to Nahaliel, which is the valley. Nahaliel means the valley of Elohim, or to flow forth from Elohim. And then it goes from Nahaliel, the valley, to Bamoth, to the high place. Bamoth means high place. And this is what the exaltation is. It's a gift of Elohim that comes down to the lowly, but it takes the lowly and it lifts them up. Which is what it talks about when it tells us to humble ourselves before Elohim so that he may exalt you. How do you humble yourself before Elohim? Get in this Torah. Study this word so that Abba Yah may lift you up. Anything from number 2, from chapter verse 2? Anybody else that want to add anything, see anything? Any questions? Y'all quiet tonight like some little synagogue mouse. All right, anybody want to read verse 3? It's a little longer. Here we go. One who learns from his fellow, one chapter, or one halakha, one ruling, or one verse, or one word, or even one letter is obligated to treat him with honor. For so we find with Dawid, king of Israel, who learned from Achitophel no more than 2 things. Yet called him master, his guide, and his beloved friend, as it is said, but it was you, a man my equal, my guide, and my beloved friend, from Psalm 55:14. Is this not an instance of the argument from the less to the greater? Kal Dachomer. If Dawid, king of Israel, who learned from Achitophel no more than 2 things, nevertheless called him his master, his guide, and his beloved friend, then in the case of one who learns from his fellow one chapter, or one halakha, or one verse, or one word, or even one letter, all the more so is he under obligation to treat him with honor. And honor means nothing but Torah. As it is said, it is honor that sages inherit, Proverbs 3:35. And the perfect shall inherit good, Proverbs 28:10. And good means nothing but Torah. As it is said, for I give you good instruction. Do not forsake my Torah. Proverbs 4:2. Honor. If we just read that freedom in life is derived, and the merit of not only life in this world, but the world to come is derived from our occupation of the study of Torah, how much so, more so if we're learning from someone who's teaching us Torah? And the honor that they receive because they are imparting into us that life, that freedom, that light, that love. And so it is a matter of understanding. And you look what he says, even as Melech Israel, he says here, but it was you, a man mine equal. What? Dawid, as Melech Israel, was calling Achitophel his equal, because that's what is truly understood in Israel. There is really no hierarchy. There really is no hierarchy in Israel, but Yah. The only one above anybody in Israel is Yah. And we do pay respect and reverence to Melech and Kohen Gadol, to the high priest and to the king. But it's all about Yah, because what they are supposed to be doing is showing us how to reach that same level of consciousness. They ain't exploiting us. They're not doing what Drewski just did and showing how these preachers and these pastors and these bishops and these apostles and these prophets, false, are fleecing the sheep. Fleecing the sheep. But someone who's teaching the sheep how to graze on these words, that's honorable according to Abiyah. So that's what we have to do. And this is what Hebrews 5 and 6 is talking about. At this point in time in our walk, all of you should be teachers. You got to be weaned from this milk now. You got to wean yourself from the milk and come to this meat so that the world, which is starving, can get fed. The world is starving, y'all. There's a famine. It said not of food, but of the word of Elohim. So imagine when you come in and you bring this light, not only just by teaching, but by living, by demonstrating to the world who Yah is. That's what Israel's supposed to do first and foremost. We ain't got to tell the world who Yah is. We got to show the world who Yah is. Why? Because we are manifesting Yah in our lives. With a reflection. We are the thoughts. We have the thoughts. We are the thoughts, and we are the ways of Elohim. We are the image and the likeness of Elohim. That's all the thoughts and the ways are, the image and the likeness. Connect the dots. And everything is Torah. Everything, because that's the word of Elohim. And keep in mind in Revelation 19, it says, blessed are those who have been called to the wedding feast of the Lamb. For those are the true words of Elohim. So if everything is Torah, and you honor this sage as if he is Torah, right? That honor is Torah, is because that is what that person is becoming. The word of Elohim. That's what we are to become. And the word was made flesh. All of us are. Anything from 3? All right. Verse 4. Anybody can read 4? Look at it. That's only about what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines. 6 lines. 6 lines. Somebody can read 6 lines for us. 6 lines. Such is the way of life of Torah. You shall eat bread with salt, and rationed water shall you drink. You shall sleep on the ground. Your life will be one of privation. And in Torah shall you labor. If you do this, happy shall you be, and it shall be good for you. Psalm 128:2. Happy shall you be in this world, and it shall be good for you in the world to come. It's about modesty again. It's about simplicity. It's about not being opulent, not getting caught up with the riches of the world. This is what has caught so many of us up. It is about simplicity, right? It is about not being attached to this world. But it's about understanding our place in it. And to get the labor and the reward of the labor of our engagement of Torah. Privation. This is like, we're discreet. We're discretionary. We're not just all out there like, ooh, this is why I'm, That's verse 4. Verse 5 says, do not seek greatness for yourself and do not covet honor. Practice more than you learn. Practice more than you learn. Practice more than you learn. Do not yearn for the table of kings, for your table is greater than their table, and your crown is greater than their crown. And faithful is your employer to pay you the reward for your labor. And you just see what the world is chasing right now, right? Everybody wants to be considered great. But only one is great, right? Don't covet honor. Don't just want someone else's honor. Don't covet it. Don't Just go about living your life in simplicity, practicing Torah, studying Torah, so that you can become rewarded, so that you can receive your reward from your employer, who is Abba Yah. Didn't you know I'd be about my father's business? And keep in mind, our table that Yah prepares for our enemies and otherwise, and our crown of life is greater than the crown of kings. It's greater, it tells us. So if we're seeking the greatness, what we're seeking is to make sure that our table is prepared before our Abba, and that the crown of life, keter, that's the word keter, is right here. Maketaram, right? Our crown is greater, right? Gadol maketaram. Our crown, keter, right? Here's some more tree of life, right in our face. Verse 6. Greater is learning Torah than the priesthood and than royalty. I'm going to say that again. I want you to hear that. Greater is learning Torah than the priesthood and than royalty. So that means it doesn't matter what tribe you're born in, because even if you're Levi, right, you can still learn Torah. If you're not Levi, you can still learn Torah. If you're not Yehuda, you can still learn Torah. And it's greater than being a priest and a royalty, which lets you know how powerful Israel as a nation is supposed to be. We all got access, direct access to Abba through studying Torah. For royalty is acquired by 30 stages, and the priesthood by 24, but the Torah by 48 things, by study, attentive listening, proper speech, by an understanding heart, by an intelligent heart, by awe, by fear, by humility, by joy, by attending to the sages, reading oral Torah, by critical give and take with friends, by fine argumentation with disciples, by clear thinking, by study of scripture, by study of Mishnah, by a minimum of sleep, by a minimum of chatter, by a minimum of pleasure, by a minimum of frivolity, by a minimum of preoccupation with worldly matters, by long suffering, by generosity, by faith in the sages, by acceptance of suffering. Learning of Torah is also acquired by one who recognizes his place, who rejoices in his portion, who makes offense about his words, who takes no credit for himself, who is loved, who loves Elohim, who loves his fellow creatures, who loves righteous ways, who loves reproof, who loves uprightness, who keeps himself far from honors, who does not let his heart become swelled on account of his learning, who does not delight in giving legal decisions, who shares in the bearing of a burden with his colleague, who judges with the scales weighted in his favor, who leads him on to truth, who leads him on to peace, who composes himself in study, who asks and answers, who listens to others, and himself adds to his knowledge, who learns in order to teach, who learns in order to practice, who makes his teacher wiser, who is exact in what he has learned, and who says a thing in the name of him who said it. Thus you have learned. Everyone who says the thing in the name of him who said it brings deliverance into the world, as it is said, and Esther told the king in Mordecai's name. Selah. So these are the ways we go about learning Torah. This is called midot. These are the character traits that we have to pick up on and to apply to our life. These are also our attitudes. These are our beatitudes, right? These are our modes of operation, right? And this is our character. Powerful. I did see a chat come up in the room. Minimum of sleep, right? Because you're engaged in Torah. Very much so. Very much so. And that's something, because it's like, and here's the thing, and I know I've been doing it a lot lately, and I could actually get much better in this, because the energy of this earth is accelerating. I know everybody feels it. The sun is going crazy, the core is going crazy, the Schumann resonance is accelerating, everything is accelerating. And so I'm up. I'll wake up 3 in the morning and be up sometimes. I do find myself meditating more, but it's also a good time to engage in the study of Torah. One thing you had brought up, Mori Elihu, is the Kun HaKalali, right? The 10 Psalms that are read in the event of there be some sort of defilement, particularly is dealing with emissions for men. The Kun HaKalali is about the repair of this covenant and the repair of our soul when we emit the life force from within. And so that's something that is read when that is done in order to remain clean, especially if it's not in an honorable way. So, that's something that we have to make sure that we're not putting ourselves in a position for that. But what we're doing is making sure that our souls are cleaving to Abiyah. Dabach. That's what that word dabach means, to cleave. Just like one cleaves to their spouse, we're supposed to cleave to Abiyah. And these are the ways we do it through learning Torah. So yeah, it says a minimum of sleep. We'll say that right there, by a minimum of sleep. Because when you up, you might as well get it in. Invest that time. You know how it is when you get in that relationship. You want to invest that time in that relationship. I just can't wait to see my boo again. Right? Well, do the same thing with Abiyah. That's the true lover of our soul. Anything else anybody want to share in verse 6? 48 ways to learn Torah. Powerful. Verse 7. Great is Torah, for it gives life to those that practice it in this world and in the world to come. As it is said, they are life unto those that find them and health to all their flesh. Proverbs 4:22. And it says it will be a cure for your navel and marrow for your bones. From verse 3:8 of Proverbs. And it says she is a tree of life to those that grasp her, and whoever holds on to her is happy. 3:18. And it says, for they are graceful, a graceful wreath upon your head, a necklace about your throat, from Proverbs 1:9. And it says, she will adorn your head with a graceful wreath, crown you with an esteemed diadem, 4:19. And it says, in her right hand is length of days, and in her left riches and honor, 3:16. And it says, but they will bestow on you length of days, years of life and peace, Proverbs 3:2. Look at that. All the rewards of Torah. This is why our employer is faithful in rewarding us if we engage in the labor of Torah with all these things here. These are our rewards for studying Torah, and practicing it. Let me add that too. And see, that's why Beit Mashiyach is a yeshiva. That's all we are. We are a house of study. Our focus is study. That's the highest form of worship in Israel. The highest form of worship in Israel is study. Why? Because we're now taking on and putting on the mind of Abba. Who is known the mind of Mashiyach? It tells us, but those who study the Torah. Because Mashiyach is the Torah manifest, incarnate. The Torah fulfilled in that soul that has learned Torah and mastered Torah and overcome sin and overcome death. That's what all this leads to. These are the rewards of Torah in this world and in Olam Haba. Olam Chazeh, this world, Olam Haba, the world to come. This is what the Torah rewards us with. Life in this world and the next. It heals us, right? It gives us joy and exuberance. It gives us victory. It gives us authority, right? There's that crown again. It gives us length of days and riches and honor. Say loud. Anyone else with anything from 7? I'm making my voice raspy than a mug. Come on. Verse 8. Rabbi Shimon ben Menashe said in the name of Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, beauty, strength, riches, honor, wisdom, old age, gray hair, and children are becoming to the righteous and becoming to the world. As it is said, gray hair is a crown of esteem, beauty, tiferet. It is attained by way of righteousness, Proverbs 16:31. And it says, the ornament of the wise is their wealth. Proverbs 14:24. And it says, the esteem of youths is their strength, and the beauty of old men is their gray hair. Proverbs 20:29. And it says, grandchildren are the esteem of their elders, and the esteem of the children is their parents. Proverbs 17:6. And it says, then the moon will be shamed, and the sun will be abashed. The Yasevah will reign on Mount Zion and in Yerushalayim, and Elohim's honor will be revealed to his elders. Isaiah 24:23. Rabbi Shimon ben Manasseh, he said, these 7 qualities which the sages have listed as becoming to the righteous, were all of them fulfilled in Rabbi and his sons. Selah. He's talking about Shimon ben Yochai. That's who he learned under. And that rabbi was one that did not play with Torah. He was serious. He went about living according to Torah, and he fulfilled all the things that the Torah will reward us with. This is what comes to those who labor in Torah. Anything else from verse 8? Verse 9. Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma, he said, once I was walking by the way when a man met me and greeted me, and I greeted him. He said to me, Rabbi, where are you from? I said to him, I'm from a great city of sages and scribes. He said to me, Rabbi, would you consider living with us in our place? I would give you 1,000 denarii of gold and precious stones and pearls. I said to him, my son, even if you were to give me all the silver and gold, precious stones and pearls that are in the world, I would not dwell anywhere except in a place of Torah. For when a man passes away, there accompany him neither gold nor silver, nor precious stones nor pearls, but Torah and good deeds alone. As it is said, when you walk, it will lead you. When you lie down, it will watch over you. And when you are awake, it will talk with you. Proverbs 6:22. Check this out. When you walk, it will lead you in this world. When you lie down, it will watch over you in the grave. And when you are awake, it will talk with you in the world to come. And thus it is written in the book of Psalms by David, Melech Israel, I prefer the teaching you proclaim to thousands of pieces of gold and silver. Psalm 119:72. And it says, mine is the silver and mine is the gold, says Yah, Sevaot. Now this is powerful. This is powerful. He said, if it's not somewhere where Torah is, he said, forget about it. These are the mindsets that we need to start embracing. Like, if Torah is not where we're supposed to be going, or where we're going, or where we're invited to, we ain't really got no business there. If Torah is not where we're going, what's the purpose of going? We're outside the bounds of Abba's covenant now. And when we're outside the covenant, guess what? We're not afforded the provisions of the covenant. You on your own now. We get on our own when we don't walk in the provisions that Abba has given us with Torah. But even when we are with Torah, look at that. It says when we walk, it will be with us. So that's like in this world, right? When we lie down, it will watch over us in the grave. And when we awake in the resurrection, it's going to be with us as well. It's going to talk with us even more. That's why David preferred Torah teaching, right, over gold and silver. Because it belongs to Abba anyway. You're going to get it anyway. But you got to focus on getting that Torah right, first and foremost. That's verse 9. We got 2 more verses. Chapter 10 tells us this. Verse 10, excuse me. This is powerful. 5 possessions that Hakadosh Baruch Hu set aside as his own in this world. And these are they. The Torah, 1 possession. Heaven and earth, another possession. Abraham, another possession. Israel, another possession. The temple, another possession. 1, the Torah is 1 possession. For where do we know this? Since it is written, Yah possessed, usually translated as created, me at the beginning of his course, at the first of his works of old. That is Torah. A lot of people say, oh, that's Yahushua. It is, because Yahushua is Torah manifest. He became Torah. in becoming Torah, connecting him back to when Yah was in the beginning possessing it, because it's the same thing. And it's something that we have access to as well. Say loud. 2, heaven and earth, another possession. From where do we know this? Since it is said, thus said Yah, the heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. Where could you build a house for me? What place could serve as my abode? So heaven and earth belong to Abba Yah. Now here's the deeper thing. Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? We too are heaven and we are too earth. As is the heavens, so are those who are heavenly. As is the earth, so are those who are earthy. We have bore the earthly. We got to put on the heavenly. It's talking about us. Abraham, Avinu Abraham, is another possession. From where do we know this? Since it is written, he blessed him, saying, blessed be Abraham, El Elyon, possessor of heaven and earth. But guess what? Again, this is connected. We are B'nai Abraham. We are the descendants of Abraham. So what he benefited from and what he merited, we can also merit it if we do the works of Abraham. This is what Yah told Yahushua told the Pharisees and scribes, like, you say you the seeds of Abraham, but you ain't doing the works of Abraham. If we claiming to be anything, you better be doing what it's supposed to do. Make it do what it do. And we can receive those blessings as B'nai Avraham, coming out of Babel, cleaving to Yah, becoming a friend of Yah, walking, halach, which is lech lecha, walking, coming to ourselves and walking with Abba Yah. Israel, the people, is another possession. From where do we know this? Since it is written, to your people cross over, O Yah. Hebrews, this is what crossing over is about. To your people whom you have possessed. Israel is the possession of Yah. Even when you read, I want to say Psalm 145, it tells us Yah has known no other nation but Israel. He offered Torah to other nations, but they didn't accept it, so he didn't get to know them intimately because they did not enter covenant with Abba Yah. But when Israel said, all that Yah spoken we shall do in Exodus 19 at Mount Horeb, or also known as Mount Sinai, Yah said, y'all my people. I will be your El and you will be my people. But guess what? It is our responsibility for Yah to make that proclamation, because when Yah calls us his people, it's because, when you read in Hosea, we've returned to Yah. Remember, we just read last week in Shemot, I believe chapter 4, Yah heard their cries because they started making teshuvah. They started repenting, turning back to Torah, because they were under all this pressure. Don't think this pressure that's about to come here ain't gonna have the same effect, because it is. Pretty soon, people gonna be looking for us. They're gonna be looking for you, Ramiel. They're gonna be looking for you, Hazun Yahu. They're gonna be looking for you, Aki Elihu. They're gonna be looking for you, Akol Fatu. They're gonna be looking for you, Aki Shah Judah, and Iman Stephanie. They're gonna be looking for you too. Because they're gonna see that Torah in and on y'all. They're gonna be like, well, how you, what's the light is in you and on you. And this pressure gonna be too much for people. And we here. It also says, as to Hakadosh and mighty ones that are in the land, my whole desire, possession is in them. Speaking of Israel. Psalm 16:3. The temple is another possession. From where do we know this? Since it is said, the sanctuary, O Yah, which your hands have established. Exodus 15:7. Keep in mind again, we are the sanctuary. We are the temple. We are the Hakal. This is the word Hakal. We are the Hakal. We are supposed to be the Hakal, the temple of Elohim. Mikdash, Beit Mikdash. It is actually the holy temple, Beit HaMikdash, the house of set apartness. Right here. It is also the possession. That's the temple. The sanctuary is something else. HaMikdash, Kanav, Achad, Manin, Dechativ, what's that? Shemot, Tov, Nachon, Shabbatecha Palata Chai Mikdash. So it's calling it Mikdash. It's still calling it Mikdash, the house of holiness. Chai Konanu Yadicha wa Omer Yabian El Gavul Kedosho Har Ze. Yeah, so it's calling it still the house of holiness. So the sanctuary is referring to the house of holiness here. And it goes on to say, he brought them to his set apart realm, to the mountain which his right hand had possessed. Of course, this mountain here, Sion, but it's also speaking of the government. Again, we talked about this a while ago. Whenever you're reading of mountains in scripture, you're reading of governance and governments. Governance, the governing, and governments, the actual entity that does the governing. And that is what the people are. And how does this all flow? You look at the flow of this, the Torah to heaven and earth, right? It has to be it has to come to the witnesses first. The Torah has to give its but called the voice has to reach the witnesses first, the two witnesses. Who are the two witnesses? Heaven and earth. And now you have the seed that comes into that, Abraham. And that seed gives birth to that nation, Israel. And that nation makes that sanctuary established. This is the order. This is how this all flows. This all connects like this. It has to come from a source, and that source has to be made manifest on earth through the people. That is our responsibility. And through the people, we establish the government of the kingdom of Yah on earth. That's our responsibility. All we do is keep Torah. Learn Torah, keep Torah, teach Torah. Learn, keep, teach. Last verse. Whatever Hakadosh Baruch Hu created in his world, he created only for his esteem. It's only for Abiyah. As it is said, all who are linked to my name, whom I have created, formed, made for my esteem. Isaiah 43:7. And it says, Yah shall reign forever and ever. Yah li'emloch le'olam wa'ed. Said Rabbi Hananiah ben Akashia, it pleased Hakadosh Baruch Hu to grant merit to Israel, right? This honor. That is why he gave them Torah and commandments in abundance. Keep in mind, let's just finish this. As it is said, Yah was pleased for his righteousness to make Torah great and esteemed. Isaiah 42:21. Make Torah great again. This is our phrase. This is what you hear so many things about. Make this great. We are saying make Torah great again. That's what we're proclaiming. Make Torah great again, because this is what will correct all the aberrant, perverted, dark, wicked, evil, hateful ways on earth. The Torah is what will rectify all that. It will repair everything if it's done correctly. This is what Shaul taught Timothy. If the Torah is done legitimately, if it's used legitimately, it's to correct thieves, murderers, sodomites, fornicators, anything that's not according to sound teaching. It will correct it if it's used legitimately. And we know the Torah is good. We know the Torah is spiritual, right? But we know Torah also gets taken advantage of by sin, because it tells you what you should not do. And knowing what you should not do, just like Adam and Hawa back in the garden, they got curious. That flesh said, hey, that's what Nachash is. Hey, he said, no, but you know what you won't do. That's Nachash, and it ain't a real serpent. It's our evil inclination. It's the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination inside of us. We're taught to look everywhere but inside ourselves, which is where all this story is taking place. In every single one of us. And the beauty is when we all figure it out and we bring it together and we come together as one people in Jerusalem in that 7th month, as one man, that's where Mashiyach will be. That's where Mashiyach will be. Selah. Any closing thoughts? Anybody got anything they want to close with? Any questions, comments, reflections? Pirkei Avot is powerful. We're going to pick up next week with Mishnah Torah from Rambam. Ooh-wee. I cracked it a little bit today. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all what. It's elevation time. It's revelation and elevation time. Because everything going on in the world right now is either gonna have people blind or we gonna have the all I seeing. It's one of the two. Because Yah wants his people to know and see and do all that is intended for us to do, because Yah it's time for Yah to come back to this earth. And the only way Yah is coming back to this earth is through his people, through the people. That's the only way. And the only way Yah gonna come back to the people is that the people know how to invoke Yah and how to serve Yah and how to manifest Yah through the Torah. The written and the oral, by the way. The written and the oral. Which is why we getting in Mishnah next week. Which is why we were in Mishnah. We just finished one of the Mishnah books, Pirkei Avot. Just finished it. So with that, any closing comments again? One more again. I'm gonna run down the list. Who we got in here? Akieli, who you straight? Anything you want to share?
Yes, sir. Nah. I'm good. No words right now. But hey, good work though. Shah Kowak, good reading.
Hallelujah. All praise Hallelujah. Akofa too. Anything? You good? Thumbs up. Aki Ramiel, anything? You good up?
All good. All good. Thanks.
Aki Shah Judah, what's up? Anything from you, Aki?
Man, you just in the spirit. I'm taking it all in. I definitely appreciate this. My spirit needed it for real.
Hallelujah. All praise Hallelujah. Iman Stephanie, anything from you?
Just absorbing. Thank you.
Hallelujah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All praise Hallelujah. So let's close out with the Birkat Kohanim. Can you do that, Aki Elihu? Are you able to close us out with that?
Yes, sir. Let me go to a quieter room real quick. Hold on.
Hallelujah.
Boom, there I can. All right, slick. Not like he stuck a vote. Let us humble ourselves. Bamidbar chapter 6, number chapter 6, verse 22 through 27. But we're gonna tell y'all I'm Dani Kukeka. Why that bed Yahuwah El Moshe Lamor. Yah spoke to Moshe. Daber el Aharon wa el Banav la Amor Ko Tavarchu et Bnei Yisrael Amor Lahem. Speak to Aaron and his sons. Thus shall you bless the people of Israel. Say to them, Yevadekaka Yahuwah, Viyish Medekah.
And you
Yah
have it.
bless you. Yah bless you and protect you. Yah Ed Yahuwah Panavileka Vihu Necha.
You have it, so.
Yah deal kindly and graciously with you. Yisah Yahuwah Panavileka Viasim Leka Shalom.
And you have it, so.
Yah bestow divine favor upon you and grant you peace. Wesamu Ershimi al Bnei Yisrael wa ani avarkem. Thus they shall link my name with the people of Israel, and I will bless them. Hallelujah.
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 Okay.
Yachai.
Yochai.
Yachai.
Ochai.
Yachai.
Selah.
Amen. Hallelujah. Shabbat Shalom. Mishpachah B'nai Elohim. We will reconvene tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be going over Parsha Vayera, and he appeared. Okay, and so that will be tomorrow. We're going to be going from Exodus chapter 6, verse 2 to chapter 9, verse 35. I had posted it in the chat, but let me see. And then we're going to read from the prophet Yechezkel, chapter 28, verses 25 through 29, 21. So that is what we will be engaging tomorrow. Same link. Just tap that link if you are interested in coming back in and fellowshipping with us. And we will chop that up and go for it from there. But I pray you all have a great rest of your night. May you lie down in shalom and rise up in shalom. We will go for it from there. All love, the Hitraot, Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha.
Shalom,